Dr. Mayakandan and other colleagues, respected speaker of this evening, Dr. Uday Prakash, all participants. I have the honor of welcoming you all to this webinar talk, and the topic is really something which is a fascinating one, in the sense, if you try to look in the first instant, if somebody after the PG or during the PG thinks about the PhD, he never used to understand the term research. If you ask me, research is anybody's activity. It is not only the scientist. Research is something which is a creative activity. If you do it with scientific activity, if it is pursued scientifically with the rigorous investigation of a problem to get a new knowledge, then it becomes something, a good contribution to the society at large. So when we talk about research, it is really, the first term is, it's a problem. We need to have a good problem to work on, and how to select this problem. This problem is it is not something real meaning of the problem. It is some kind of invention. We can call it as an invention rather than a problem, because this invention should be something feasible, something interesting, something novel, something ethical, and something relevant to some society associated things. So such should be the problem. It can be a kind of a basic research which puts a good platform to understand the living and non-living material, and when we try to apply it to generate some kind of facilities, some kind of new knowledge or innovation, then it becomes a applied research. So basic research and applied research should go together as something which is highly essential. Without basic research, applied research is not possible. Academic institutions mostly involved in the basic research should generate new discoveries and information. And this information should be understood in a proper perspective, and then try to understand the concepts and apply the concept to generate some new product or new aspects or creativity. So the basic aspect, what I'm trying to emphasize to the new scholars who are just entered, is we should understand the basics of this need for this research. It should be something like a passionate activity. It is not something burden. If you take research as a passionate activity, it will keep on doing, you will keep on doing it lifelong, and you will not feel any kind of distress or hardship or any such thing. It is a passion. So research has to be a passion, and we need, for that we need to select a good problem. And in India, there is no dearth of problems. Umpteen number of inventions can be made in Indian scenario. There is quite a lot of scope. But the next aspect is the selection of the guide. Selection of the problem is easier. Selection of the guide is a big problem. That only is a big problem. And you should identify, please try to think about your inner strength, at what you are very good. In the field studies, in the lab studies, in writing, and in making some creative thinking, when you try to do that, you will come to a kind of conclusion where You have to be on this particular track, and this is quite passionate to you, and this is my skill, and this skill can be applied to this. Identify the areas, try to go through the literature, find the gaps, make a valid problem. And once when you get that valid problem, and if you explain it to any guide, he's quite happy, he will be happy and will try to guide you. So in this, once when you select the problem, please don't think that in a way that we are somewhat inferior to the Western countries and or any such thing. It is not so. We have rich biodiversity, we have rich bio facilities, and even what is happening in US, what methodology and other things through all this advancement in the IT sector, within few minutes I can get all those things. So you can prepare yourself to an international state or that kind of research work. And this research work requires your deep knowledge about what you are going to do. You should not while away your time in spending to search for a problem itself for 6 months. All those days are gone. Now it is a fast-paced process. If you just ask a scholar of 1980s or 90s, 6 months he will be spending only on literature collection. He has to go for from library to library to see even 1 or 2 papers. He cannot take Xerox of it. He has to write it by himself with the hand in a long size notebook. All these processes are gone. So straight away now, if you just try to open the net and try to look for some information, hundreds of papers you can download. Once when you start download, even you need not download. The Google itself searches and gives you so many papers on that particular field. So the process is getting easier. Then what you have to do? Think very clearly. You have a clear idea with specific goals and objectives, and based on that objectives, formulate your methodology. Learn the methodology strongly. Only when you have a strong methodology, you can proceed with your work. Otherwise, you cannot get the results as you desire, or deserves the results which are realistic. So the methodology you may have to perfect. You try to do those experiments. If it is chromatography, run 10 times. Electrophoresis, run 10 times. Likewise, any isolation techniques, any spectroscopic study or any such thing, you do it repeatedly and try to learn that. And so when you handle the new material, there may be so many variations. Unless you are very, very comfortable with the technique, it is not possible to adjust yourself to the requirement of your sample analysis. This will make you a very clear pathway to study a material. So you have a very good methodology, good knowledge in that, and good analytical powers. The results is there. And thereafter, it is how exactly you are proceeding to get some concrete results. There is no point in going wider in the sense you are just trying to analyze one particular animal or one particular phytoplankton or so, and if the next one, if you analyze, it is going to have more similar, but some difference may be there. Likewise, instead of doing 10 different compounds or 10 different analyses, when you have taken one, you go deeper and deeper. As you go deeper and deeper, this is the aspect where Indian scholars are slipping a bit. Instead of going wide, if you go deeper, you are going to the international standard. Your results will be international standard. And this international standards, if you have, and if you are unable to give any kind of valid interpretation, and this interpretation is something which depends upon your knowledge on your literature. Every month you have to revise the literature, relevant literature. Reading once a paper, you can understand only 30%. 5 times 70%, and 10 times only 80%. More than that, you cannot understand. If you have even 80% of understanding of the relevant papers, then your results will guide you for new interpretations, new generalizations. You can come up with new concept, new creativity. So this is how it should be researched. And I think Dr. Uday Prakash is somebody who has done quality research, and he has published high papers in high impact factor journals of a very international repute. So let me not take more time, and let me have the pleasure of welcoming him again to this webinar. You are most welcome, Uday Prakash sir. I am proud to say that Dr. Uday Prakash is my friend and colleague also. I have again a very happy to welcome you. Welcome to this webinar. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Good afternoon. My system got a little bit hanging, and sorry, and I apologize for that. Now I would like to call upon our beloved registrar to give a inaugural Dr. Degra, sir. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, very good afternoon to the all gathered here, especially Professor Altaf, Senior Professor of the department, HOD Dr. Senthilnathan, and my dear good friends Dr. Selvakumar and Dr. Mayakannan, and other participants, and more importantly to my senior and my lovable brother Dr. Uday Prakash, whom I consider as one of the important scientists in this country, and is one of the very rarest area, aerobiology. He is one of the very few rarest scientists in India working on the aerobiology. Welcome you, brother Dr. Uday Prakash, for our university function. It is indeed a great pleasure and happy to be among with you in this research methodology workshop, which is organized for next 2 days by the Department of Marine Biotechnology. In fact, Professor Altaf has delivered a vivid overview of what is the importance of research methodology. I'm not going to take much time. I would like to share a personal experience. When I was joined my PhD at 2004 in Madras University, I was not having much, I was not aware of much about the research methodology. That time the coursework was not also a compulsory one. The coursework was not compulsory at that time. But still, we were given the coursework research methodology as self-study paper, and there is only one book on that time. At that time, but there were no regular classes or some orientation program on the research methodology, as far as my knowledge goes at that time. But after I complete the first year of PhD period, the IBMS, the Institute of Basic Medical Sciences, Taramani, has organized one workshop for whole day, 1 day only. It's a workshop jointly organized by one of the overseas university. I think it is Belfast University, UK, and the Department of Genetics. I think they have organized this program for a 1 day event, and it is a workshop. That really has opened up many avenues for me to take up the research. Actually, before that thing, I was not knowing what is the difference between hypothesis or the idea of research or the research plan. I was not much aware of all those things, but that workshop has given me a clear picture where to start the research and how to go ahead with the research plan. Actually, it is always better to have a knowledge about research methodology before taking up research. It is very much essential. Because when you know the concept of research methodology, I think in the conference they have mentioned the difference about the research methods and research methodology. Method is different, methodology is different. And that is really a wonderful opportunity for me to shape my research And I considered thereafter only PhD not as a time-bound PhD or research, whatever it is, not as a time-bound degree program. It is not an ordinary or regular degree program which is time-bound. Once you complete 3 years, you can submit your synopsis and submit your thesis. It is not like that. You should have one hypothesis. That hypothesis should have some aims and objectives. That aims and objectives has to be tested with experiments. Experiments should have some methods, standard methods, which are to be reproducible. That is most important. And then you will have to have some results, and you have to discuss the results in the light of already published literature, whether your result is significant, or your result is new, or your result is in contrary with the existing result. Those kind of discussions you have to make, and finally you have to make a conclusion. And the PhD, as most people consider, it is not always giving positive result. Giving a negative result is also a result. It is also a result, and it is also a research. And I consider that research is a training program for you to make you an analytically skillful person. So the analytical mind is the one which is required for research. You have to analyze any problem with this standard structure. You have to have a hypothesis, then you have to have some objectives and experiments like that. So any problem, not necessarily your research problem, whatever the problem, if you approach this in this category, in this line, you will get a good results. That is why people, maybe I'm a PhD in microbiology, maybe I can even understand the PhD topic of cryogenic engines, definitely. Because if I know the research methodology very well, I can understand any field of research. Though I cannot design and construct cryogenic engine, but I can understand how it is functioning and how it is being designed, how for what it is designed. Those kind of aspects we can understand. That is what I consider the most important aim for a PhD scholar. You should have an analytical mind. For that analytical mind, you should have a thorough knowledge on what is research methodology, a thorough understanding on what is research methodology. And I'm happy that the Department of Marine Biotechnology at the right time has organized this wonderful workshop on research methodology. And I think our senior Dr. Uday Prakash is going to give a wonderful lecture. I have witnessed him to this lecture many times. When I was a student, he trained me, and when I was a colleague, he also coordinated with us. And now I am going to listen to him as an expert person in this lecture. I am very eager to listen to Dr. Uday Prakash like you. And thank you once again, the department, for having given me this opportunity of sharing few words of my thought with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It was so wonderful and good in our speech. Now I would like to call my colleague, Dr. Selva Kumar, to give introduction speech to Dr. Uday Prakash, sir. Thank you. The dais is over to you, Selva Kumar, sir. Please take it.
Thank you, Michael, sir. Good afternoon to one and all who has gathered for this workshop, two-day workshop on research methodology. It is a great honor for me to introduce our beloved speaker, Dr. N.K. Uday Prakash, sir. He has been serving as an associate professor in Wales University, the Department of Biotechnology currently, and he has his field of specialization. Particularly, his field of specialization is on aerobiology, that UAV, unarmed vehicle in air monitoring, and air sample design. He also designed 2 air samplers design. And also his field of specialization is on microbial biotechnology, that is effective microorganisms and the thermophilic microorganisms for bio-waste. And also he has herbal biotechnology specialization. He developed the extractor cum dryer, and also he developed a natural face wash. And also he has worked on this bioremediation, that is bioremoval of dyes, heavy metals, which are a great concern for the dye industries and also polluting the water ecosystem. And also he developed the bio nanotechnology with the nano sensor for ammonia in the air. So he developed all these things. And he also got specialization with all these things. He got his PhD in aerobiology in 2001 from CAS in Botany, University of Madras. And currently, I already said that he is an associate professor in Wales University. Before that, he has worked as an associate professor in Wales Technical University around 5 years, and he has been a director and research and development, Marina Labs, Chennai, and he also be the manager of Omni Environmental Incorporation in Austin, Texas, USA, and the director of IAQ Laboratory Singapore, and he has worked as a research associate in R&D in Kevin Care Limited, Royapettah, Chennai, and he has got numerous awards. Actually, his recent award is the Inspirational Associate Professor Award, SMRIT DST Government of India in 2019, and he has been a fellow of Indian Association of Applied Microbiology, and he got a first prize in oral prize in 18 National Conference on Indian Aerobiologists Society in 2015. He has been got an Young Scientist Award in 2013 from Education Today publications, and Best Educationalist Award also. He has got Summer Fellowship from INSA in 2012, and he is a fellow of Mycological Society of India, and he got a P.H. Gregory Award in Indian Aerobiologist and Indian College of Allergy and Applied Immunology. He has got numerous publications, around some 112 more than that, and also he has got one book publication. He has been a resource person for more than a resource person as well as for invited talks. He has more than 80, and he has got a patent file around 7. He has got attended conference around 55. With all this experience, and also he has served as a board of studies member in other universities also. With all this experience and with all this excellent background on aerobiology research as well as contribution to the microbiology, I welcome you, sir. Sir, you can have your presentation now. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, let me check whether my presentation is visible for everyone.
It is audible, sir.
Yeah. So before I start, my acknowledgement of my thanks are due to the patrons of AMET University, Dr. Jayaprakash Vel, the Registrar of AMET, Dr. Muthailan, the Controller of Examination of AMET, Dr. Sendil Nathan, the Head of the Department of Biotechnology, Marine Biotechnology, AMET, my own juniors, Dr. Mai Kannan, Dr. Selva. Selva, thanks for your introduction. And of course, my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Professor Altaf, because he is my mentor related to my publication concept. Right. In this particular talk, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to speak typically about the challenges or ethics in scientific publication. Just I'm going to, theoretically, I'm going to share my own experiences, what I have faced, and what are the types of ethics we follow when we started publishing. Right. First of all, why we need to publish? Is it necessary for us to publish? We are enjoying our research, but why we need to publish? Right. If that is concerned, why we need to publish, we reviewed, so you can have an idea from other peers, whether it is positive criticization or negative. Even you can modify your research when you are publishing, you can gain more knowledge, and above all, you can live for generations. In the sense, also even if I'm by the year 2050, my papers may be cited. Also, I may not be here physically in the earth. So this is what the beauty of a scientist whenever they are publishing. Right. What are the types of publications? We can classify them into different things. I have given a few. Of course, you have all rights to add whatever you are thinking. To my knowledge, what I have put in this particular slide. One is evaluation-based. So the scientific publication can be classified as evaluation-based in the sense your supervisor will be evaluating this. First one, project report. So whenever you are serving with an industry, or otherwise when you are submitting a scientific project to the funding body, that is called as project report, where this will be evaluated by a group of scientists. Dissertation. For your master's and MPhil, you are supposed to present an evaluation-based report called as dissertation. For your doctoral studies, it is considered as a thesis. For general articles, you might have seen many scientific reports available in even Dinamalar or even the Hindu, Times of India, everything. So scientific articles are coming there as general articles in dailies as well as in magazines. However, over there, the people are giving their own ideas about. So most probably, 100% I cannot rely on that because the reporters are making their own opinion onto these sort of publications. By coming to a typical scientific publication, it can be classified into books and into scientific journals. This title is, the talk of the title is confined to the scientific publication. So I can classify the scientific journals, that is the publication in scientific journals, as abstract, whenever you are presenting it in conference, and you will be peer-reviewed by the people whomever is attending the conference as well as organizers of the conference. Review in the sense, when I discuss with my professor, B.P. Vittal, so why don't you write a review paper on aerobiology? The comment what I received is, he said he is too young to write a review on aerobiology. In the sense, it's not accepting his knowledge is full up to writing a review. But nowadays, I can see plenty of youngsters are writing review. Of course, the opinion differs. Then the other type of paper is called as opinion paper. Opinion paper in the sense you can write about, if you have any idea about how the COVID-19 is controlled, you can give the opinion in scientific journals. Again, it is peer-reviewed. Either it may get accepted or sometimes, mostly I got my papers rejected. Perspective, in the sense, what will be the next step towards a specific scientific item? So how it can be taken about. So those stuff is considered as perspective. Letter to editor. You can comment on the happenings. Currently, most of the things you can see letter to editor related to COVID-19 whenever you are looking for the literature related to that. Then typical scientific research articles are there. This includes the proceedings published by many journals or by the conferences. So this is how we can classify the types of publication. Then the next challenge is how to select a journal. There are plenty of journals available. So it's time for you to pick which journal and on what basis. So this is a typical challenge we are faced. Right, how you can select? If there is any clarity for you in this particular slide, I cannot see. Plenty of things are going around my ears. I think the site score is important. In fact, I could know item. Let's focus in the SCI, no SCIE, everything. So I become confused with this particular selection of journals. Then before that, this is what our status is. Right. So we are supposed to learn about few of the terms widely used in selection of journal for our publication. Right. First of all, we are supposed to pick a journal which is indexed in a particular specified indexer. What is index journal? That means the journal which has been gone through a rigorous review process by the journal indexers. There are plenty of indexers available. I have given a few of them. Even UGC has given list of CAD journals. Then Anna University has brought in this Annexure 1 and Annexure 2 journals. Then similarly, the indexing body like Scopus is existing. SCI, that is Science Citation Index, is available. Then the other body is Science Citation Index Expanded. Nowadays, these two are falling under Web of Science, and again now renamed as Parity Analysis. Right. So you may be knowing this is given for the ranking is given for the journals as indexing in either it is Scopus or SCI or SCIE. Mostly in India now they have brought in UGC index also. So whenever you are publishing, be careful to select the journal accordingly based on the indexing body, how they are referring about the title of the job. Right. Impact factor. What is that impact factor? You can see that plenty of people saying, I'm having this much of impact factor and everything. Whereas in the earlier days, we never had this impact factor. For example, if I'm taking my own professor's impact factor is concerned, during those days, there exists no impact factor. But can you call him that he's not a specialist on that particular subject? No way. He's a doyen on the subject. And of course, as that came into the picture, you, the young scientists, need to click on this also, because the competition in the world right now is depending upon the impact factor. What is the impact factor? Impact factor is again given for the journal ranking, which shows about the citations of this particular year, for an example, 2021, that is divided by the citation of that particular journal in the year 2020 and then 2029. These two put together, then dividing it the current year, that is 2020, that gives the impact factor of the journal by the year 2020. Another thing is also there. Source normalized impact factor, SNIP. This is again, you can see this in many of the journals right now. What this says about citations of the particular year divided by year 1, year 2, year 3, that is the previous year, average of 5. Then that gives SNP factor. The third one is size score. Nowadays, this is followed by the Elsevier. They have replaced the impact factor with the size score right now. What they are saying about in this pictorial depiction, you can see that it's clearly expressed as, for an example, they have given 2015 as A, and then 2020, 2013, 2014 as grouped under B. So everything put together. So 2015 divided by all these three, that gives the size score. So this is how the journals are evaluated. So you can easily pick the journal based on this indexing. Then the impact factor, SNP or size score, based on that, can pick a particular journal. Right. How to evaluate an individual? Whether you are approved by the field, then what is the evaluation criteria for evaluating an individual? Right. Here it comes. Number of citations of that particular author is called as citation. Whenever you are applying for different positions, you can see, give about a total citation index. Then they will be asking about the S index and then item index. This is widely followed by recruiters, including the government position. Nowadays, they have started asking all these things. Here, I've given my own example. What is mine for you to easily understanding. Citation in the sense, this is taken from Google Scholar. You can see citations of 1,364 as citations. Then what is my H index? H index is an author level metric which measures the productivity and citation impact of an individual scholar. In my case, you can see that H index, I don't know whether you can see the cursor. Right, if it is put up, H index, it shows it is 14. Then comes item index. Item index, only Google is following, no other site is using this. Item, what is that? The number of publications which has at least 10 citations. So that is considered as an item. So in my case, it is 20 papers are having item index. So this is how you can evaluate an individual scientist. Here, the next body, that is Scopus. Scopus, what it says? The citation for Uday Prakash and K, that is an individual author, is 830. The H index cited for this particular author is 11. That is all Scopus index journals citing the paper of an author. That is 11. here we can have a beauty of listing the co-authors also. Here you can see that I have worked with nearly 160 co-authors. So that particular thing you can pick it from this purpose. So that gives an advantage, how good we are, how well we are getting on with our colleagues, and how good we are accommodative to other scientists. Everything is reflected in this particular area. Right. The other thing is research gain. Again, it's an individual body. Here, see, looking at all these things, what it means, it gives you some confidence. It gives you some standing in scientific society. Just I want you to get your attention. Here you can see 42,529 reads of my article, sitting in a single corner in the earth, and we are nowhere, and we are no way considered as, even an object, but we are having an influence and impact on 42,529 scientists working in the world. So that is what the beauty of all these indexing bodies is. So make sure that your work is also visible so that it can reach plenty of people. Right. So after seeing that my condition right now, so I said that I want to take you to the travel, how I started my publication and what were the challenges I was posed with. My first paper, just I'm recalling Professor Altaf. He is my mentor. So I've had a wonderful experience with Professor Altaf in publishing this particular paper.
Excuse me, sir.
Where he used to discuss. Yes. Mike, hello.
Mike.
Any audible, Ilya?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
கேக்குது சார். கண்டிப்பா பண்ணுங்க சார்.
Okay. Right. So my first paper is with Professor Altaf. My mentor, I can say that he is the man who made me introduce me into the publication side. So the first paper was published in Indian Journal of Microbiology. The second one is on Czechoslovakia mycology. Here, that is after Indian Journal, we passed on to the international one. Whereas when you are going on with the international one, they need some novelty. In this case, title is given as Aromatic Study on Thermophilus fungi. So throughout India, only 3 people have worked on this airborne thermophiles. So I picked the lacunae over there, then started working on it, then started publishing this. So you find out the lacunae in your own subject, look for the people, when there is a lacunae, you start on working it so that your publication can easily be accepted. Right. Do we need to stick on to a single field? But my own experience has made, no. Also, we are vertically strong in one field. You are also supposed to diversify horizontally in different fields too. So in this case, just I'm giving my own indexing with few of the things I want to recall. You know that my pet area is the aerobiology, whereas my publications are concerned, you can see that thermophilic fungal allergens in atmosphere, second, allergenic thermophilic fungi, third, atmospheric prevalence, fourth, species in the atmosphere, aspergillus in the atmosphere, then atmospheric fungi in Austin, Texas, USA, then atmospheric fungi in vegetable market, indoor mold spectrum in Singapore, again atmospheric thermophilic fungi in vegetable market, allergenicity and aerobiology of mesquite pollen, then even a book on indoor molds, airborne molds in the atmosphere. All these papers are speaking about my field, pet field, aerobiology. Whereas, just you check my citations, totally how much I have? 5, 10, 20, 33 and only 39 citations. Also, we have published this much of papers because the people working on this particular field is the rarest of rare, so that your paper cannot be easily cited. But it cannot be taken as that the person is not having an authority on the subject. So, whereas current days publication scenario, how it is going, you are supposed to look into the different fields also. Right. So next step what I did, during the year 2007, it has started with nanotechnology with a boom. So we started working on with that particular stuff. Microbial synthesis of silver nanoparticles by bacillus. The idea is generated by myself and Dr. Kadiravan, but we are lacking an instrument like electron microscope and other FTIR instruments, everything by the year 2007. So there is no other go. Also, we have an idea and started an initial work to develop a bacillus to resist the silver. Now we are handicapped with instrument. So for this, what a scientist can do, they can go for a collaboration. So we went for a collaboration with Anandan from NIT Trichy, his student Pugarendran, then the Crawford and Muthupandian Ashok Kumar from Australia. So it's a collaborative paper. This is the topmost cited one in my case, around 255 citations for this particular paper alone. Then we have worked with, again, silver nanoparticles. Then the third paper is also on silver nanoparticles. These are all top cited papers in my case. So switching over to the field that's made up. Right. Now, just think over the indexing. The first paper is cited by 265, second 190, third 156, fourth 135, fifth 115. All these above 100 cited papers are in the field of nanotechnology. So we have started. Also, we never leave aerobiology. Keep that in mind. We used to continue with that aerobiology. Apart from that, we have chosen nanotechnology as our second field, and now you can see what the citations are. Total citation in this case, it exceeds 800. Over there, it is only 39, and even number of papers published was more, whereas over here, only 5 papers, which contributes more than 800 citations, right? So the challenges what I have faced, just I am discussing all those things right here, so that the younger generation can have a clue. I cannot rightly pinpoint what it is, but whatever the clue they are getting, they can easily observe it from this particular lecture. Right. So you have interest on high societal impact. By the year 2019 November, Chennai got a haze. What? Haze in Chennai. In general, we used to get the haze by the month of January, before Pongal. But here, by the month of November itself, we faced. Then we started analyzing what's the reason. Then finally, we concluded that the haze came from Delhi, because of the burning of silages from Punjab. So from Punjab and Haryana, the haze reaches Delhi. From Delhi, it reaches Chennai. Even people of Sri Lanka, they have reported the haze is coming from Delhi. So just think about the aerobiology, whereas this is not, it is the airborne substances, but it is not biology, it is the other particles which are present in air. So we have started developing our field of interest too. Apart from biologicals, we started working on nanoparticles in the atmosphere. Right. Then, Ajinomoto. There was few and cry by the year 2014. Oh, don't use Ajinomoto because it is giving cancer, inducing this and that. Right. What we can do with the limited source availability. Right. What we have started working with Ajinomoto, its antibacterial impact. In ResearchGate, this is the topmost read paper, which has more than 3,500 reads for this particular paper, whereas citation is concerned, not even one citation so far. So, but we have the satisfaction because this particular paper has reached nearly 3,500 people. Then, why the 2019 and 2020? What's happening throughout the world? It's pandemic, COVID. Then what we thought, right? Let us think over why COVID-1 wave is not much effective in India when compared with all Western countries. Then we have thought about few of the factors we have given it as perspective. That is the reason behind containment of COVID spread in India. We have provided an insight. This is the paper what we have published a while previous year. Currently, again, we are working with a few more papers, couple of papers related with COVID-associated mucormycosis and COVID-19 wave 2, its impact. So these two are currently we are working with. Right. Then let me move on. Interdisciplinary approach. I already said you are supposed to have a thought on horizontal science. So what we did, these are all excellently based journals and having a high impact factor. So first, therefore, in silico evaluation of multi-species toxicity of natural compounds. We never know about bioinformatics, whereas here after reading it, we have learned bioinformatics and we have worked with that. Then finally we have got published with drug and chemical toxicology, which is having 2 impact factors. Then, as an aerobiologist, when I'm looking on what is the thing we are lacking that is related to equipment is concerned, we don't have an equipment to monitor 500 meters or 300 meters. Then I have discussed with the engineers, mechanical engineers in Weltec. So they came out with UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles. Later, we have fixed our sampler to this UAV, started monitoring the airborne particulates at different heights. Again, this was published by even a nice article was given in Times Now TV channel, which gave us a very good recognition. Later, again, we have had a collaboration with the scientists from Korea, but this collaboration I'm not much happy because we have collaborated only for the sake of publication charges. So around $3,800 or $3,400 we are supposed to pay. We are unable to. So we had a collaboration from authors from Korea. Then we got this paper published. Now, by 2020, 19, 20, and 21, few of the editors are asking for novelty in the paper. So what we thought, this is nothing, a small modification on your paper. Just think, preliminary investigation on airborne fungi of pedestrian underpasses. See, India is a beautiful country where you can see pedestrian underpasses, whereas in all other countries, mostly these pedestrian underpasses are not similar to ours. Maybe in Singapore we can have, and other US and all, they can have overbridges like many different stuff. So this is unique in nature. So we have got published in Aerobiology by the year 2020, which is considered as a Bible in the field of aerobiology. Right. Helion. It is again a prestigious journal for the youngsters that want to publish either in scientific report or Helion or few other papers similar to this. Yeah, any other question? Right. In this case, we have studied the impact of firecrackers on airborne microflora. In the sense, it includes both the fungi and bacteria. What is its impact when you are celebrating Diwali during firecrackers? Right. Later, we have started working on plant pathology. So when we started working with that, we have came about Leptocytium purinde as the first report from the plant Specia populnea. Again, this is the first report. So based on these novelties, they have accepted these papers. So now you may be knowing, just let me go back right here. Okay, why you are supposed to think differently. So find out the lacuna in your subject. Then indexing is major thing. For you to get identified or peer recognition, we need a citation. So think of a good area of research, but don't leave your area of specialization. Without leaving, just you can expand your knowledge on the next area also. So now we have formed our indexing even. You can see that high societal impact journals, work, not the journal, it's a work. Then paper with interdisciplinary research, even collaboration for the sake of facility, for the sake of publication charge, for the sake of language even you can. Because plenty of time I have faced that my paper gets rejected because of non-native English is seen. So this is what the most popular reason of me getting rejected with my publications. Non-native language, that is non-native native speakers of English. So if you have a very good collaborator in this field, don't hesitate, go ahead with your collaboration. And then papers with novelty. So you bring, when you're working continuously, you can bring many novelties to the science. Open access journals, there are plenty of journals are available. You might have seen that I went for collaboration because of publication charge. Whenever you're going for open access journals, they used to charge but the advantage is it is reaching maximum number of people. I don't know whether it is natural or just it's man-made. Right. So before me coming into ethics, let me have water. Thank you. Right. Ethics. What is that? Standard of conduct for scientists in their professional endeavor. Why we need to follow that? What is the rule of the game? One is universalism, that is, which requires science be independent of race, color, creed. Communalism, what is that? Let your knowledge be public. Just share it with everyone. Disinterestedness, what is that? That is for personal profit or personal idea, to bring in that to work without interest. Organized skepticism, that is, statement should not be accepted on the word of authority. You can see this nowadays. When there is a stalwart in the subject, whenever you are raising a question against them, they cannot easily accept. So that is called as skepticism. Just thinking that they are the authority, but don't be like that. Accept whatever is coming in, right? Because always we are the learners in science. Let me move on to publication ethics. Previously, I had few slides related with scientific ethics, but as it is out of the context related to the title of the presentation, just I moved on to publication ethics. Plagiarism. Now, most of you might have already heard about this, and plenty of things has made available. Even Ilayaraja has for the plagiarism chances with, what is that? Maybe you can call it as copyright with the SPB, right? In written area, that is in journals or scientific publications, it is called as plagiarism in the sense stealing other words, stealing others' words, or wrongful appropriation. Nearly close imitation, you can call it as plagiarism. What is self-plagiarism? On our own article, if it is repeated, I feel even without knowing all these plagiarism, maybe some of my papers may also have this self-plagiarism. Because during those days, we never know about what plagiarism, what self-plagiarism is, like that. So few of my papers might have already had self-plagiarism, I think. But after learning it, we are not supposed to follow. Right. Copyright Act, you may be knowing, similar to that of patent. I've got a copyright for my book. It gives you the right for nearly 25 years. That is, you have your own authority on that. If the people are even photocopying or copying the material or copying any photo of the book, then that is considered as violation of Copyright Act, which calls nearly 50,000 rupees as fine, and then couple of years as imprisonment. Right. Sorry, imprisonment of 6 months, and then fine may be extending from 50,000 to 2 lakhs. That is what the right related to Copyright Act 1957 says. Right. What is not ethics? When you are planning to publish it in scientific community, don't go for the press. Why we are going for the press? To create a hype, to have our, experiences showcase. So don't do that, because this is not scientifically be reviewed. There may be errors. So with errors, don't go into the general press. Supervisors stealing the credit of the students. That is again not an ethics. You might have seen, even few people have reported, I have submitted this particular project to this agency. However, the same project was submitted by some other people, but we don't know what the truth is. Right. Plagiarized grant applications, the scientists had reviewed. For an example, if I'm going to review the project, after seeing that interest, I'll keep it aside right? Later, I may write the project on this same title. Finally, I may get the funding. So this is called as plagiarized grant application. The scientists have reviewed. Then in Australian scientists, they said one of the postdoc, they are leaking the result to the competitors or research material. These are all considered as not in ethics. Authors, what is the role of them? Who needs to be an author? Right. So whenever the youngsters, even I, at this age and experience, whenever I'm given an author for a paper, my excitation stage is like this. This I have to accept. Till death, I think I may have this particular excitation, I think. Okay. What we do, mostly we think when we are adding the name of the author, who is the experience in the field, then acceptance of the journal paper will be easy. So this is against ethics. Even the author must not accept it. Mostly, age-old academicians, they never accept. In my experience, whenever I have dealt with them, they said simply no. What is the thing you want to discuss? Yeah, let us discuss, but I don't want authority. This is what we used to get. Right. Authors on papers are expected to have materially contributed to the work. They are supposed to contribute to the work. Without that contribution, don't claim authority. If some people have worked on your paper, don't deny them the authors. Share the credit to all the authors. This is again an ethics. So don't take it as granted, just you know everything and go for publication. Take the view of co-author. What do they feel? Is there any modification? Go ahead with that. There may be an error even with your methodology, experiments, everything. So consider the views of all co-authors, independent of their age, experience, etc. When you have taken a material from the source, don't forget to cite. So cite the references. Whenever you receive a funding, acknowledge them, because without their fund, your work may not be materialized. So acknowledge. So finally, we are coming to the end of this. So before we go back, just recall what are all the things, challenges we faced, then what are all the ethics we are supposed to follow. I think I'm not speaking with you people theoretically, but I felt I'm satisfied. I think you people might have satisfied with the presentation of my own experiences in the journey towards my publications. So let us teach proper science for the younger generation. Just provide them the discipline in conducting scientific research. Then impact factor is concerned. Of course, we are having UGC index or something like, but this has to be rigorously worked because of the impact factor, many private journals are coming. So we need to avoid that. So we can think over on this at the national level. Right, my references, the photography, whatever you enjoyed in this particular presentation are taken from yahoo.com. Yahoo photographs they'll have, so you can easily pick that. So my thanks due to Yahoo, and then the references wherever I've had, and few of the things I've taken it from Wikipedia. Right. This looks dirt, but currently I'm working on this particular area which speaks about airborne. That is my own field, aerobiology, nanoparticles, the field where I have a specialization again, of medicinal plants, that is on herbal biotechnology. And of course, I'm pretty good at bioremediation. But in bioremediation, we had an excellent breakthrough. So no publication has been raised in that particular field. However, it was filed for a patent. So with that, my thanks are due to my mentor in publication, Dr. Altaf. Thank you, Professor. Without you, this particular presentation will not be there, because you are the one who made the path for me to travel in the publication field. My thanks are due to the patrons of AMET University, Dr. JP. Of course, we used to call him as JP instead of Jayaprakash Bel. More than 25 years of togetherness we have. I'm sharing with JP and Muthiran. From the year 95 to till date, we are closely associated. My juniors, Dr. Silva and Mayakanan. Mayakanan, thank you for giving me such
You're
a
welcome,
wonderful
sir.
opportunity. You are the backbone of this particular program. Thanks for the opportunity you have given. Then all the listeners for your patient hearing. And then I'm now open if there is any question from you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
The forum
everyone.
is open for question. Yeah. The forum is open for question. Any question, please raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask the question. So this is the right time you can get some clarification.
Dear Dr. Uday Prakash, it is not that we have ignited you, but you are the gem. So you have fire in you, and this fire, it is like a wildfire now in the scientific world, where you can have real. See, I am very, very proud, and it is heartening to a senior member. I always take that very well. All of my students are my friends only, and say the kind of ambience with which we have inculcated or infused a kind of research interest. I think that is just a beginning. But unless the capabilities, the kind of application, it is not possible to grow to this extent. I wish God give you good health and also many laurels in your life. Still, I feel you have a long and something in our country. It is not. We are doing what exactly is the opportunities available. There are quite a lot of opportunities, quite a lot of ambience for quality research and realistic contributions. And I think there is a lot for you to also contribute. In turn, the kind of attitude and the kind of the approach you give, God is great. Everything will be good, and I think it is a very good program today we had. I must thank our Sendil sir, Mayakanan sir, and also Sellakumar sir. More than all of us, Dr. JP, who is involved in developing this department to a very great extent. You are most welcome to our department anytime, and it will be our pleasure. And I have real appreciation for the kind of work, and it is a good opportunity to learn it. I'm feeling very happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Dear participant, if you have any question, please ask.
Sir, let me ask one question.
Yeah, Silva.
Please, sir, please.
I very well know, sir, you are expert of this aerobiology and currently a lot of devices. I'm really eager to know how we capture this, the microbes. You are saying that you are designed maybe a apparatus or it may be a device. So you are capturing the microbes and you are analyzing them. I need to know how much amount is captured, or how much exactly. See, always we say that okay, 1 ml contains this, 1 ml this much, this population 10 power something. So we say that. So like then, how in an aero microbes, how it is possible to, whether you can calculate that, or it is possible that we using the device with a nano sensor, it is possible, or anything like that can be developed.
Yes, Silva, it is possible. Already instruments are available. Even with my Marina labs, I've imported plenty of instruments from US. So the biggest laboratory in aerobiology is concerned, Marina Labs is one of the biggest one in India. We can have a workshop, even hands-on workshop after this pandemic, so that students can also have an idea of what are all the types of samples we are using, how they can calculate, how they can give a quality and quantity based report, even with all sort of indoor as well as outdoor environment. We can have a separate workshop for that. Even now, they need to think about the presence of mucor in hospitals, in ICUs, in all other areas, because COVID-associated mucormycosis is growing up plenty. Even in Tamil Nadu, we have reported more than 900 cases. So the right time is to look into the presence of mucor-related fungi in the atmosphere. But not yet worked with the COVID because I'm not a virology specialist. But if opportunity is provided, surely we can work on that. But still, I'm handicapped with virology is concerned.
Is there any possibility of marine-oriented species like aeromicrobes? Any possibility? Like, is
I
it
did a
possible?
preliminary investigation in mangrove. That is, you may be knowing a well-oriented mangrove next to Chidambaram. In Pichavaram, we have conducted along with one of the participants right here, Dr. Kannan. The instrumentalist, Dr. Muthailan. I stayed in his room, and he was the man who took me to the mangrove. We enjoyed a lot staying with Muthailan over there, because as he did his doctorate from Annamala University, that is in Parangi area. So we stayed there, we enjoyed. Of course, a few people are working in marine, that is atmosphere related to marine environment, so that they can take the instrument maybe 1 meter away from the sea, on top of the sea or sea surface. They can look over it. Surely, if there is any opportunity, we can work with that particular area also.
If it is done, it is a breakthrough, sir. No, sir. Because
Surely, in India, I feel it maybe. Surely, we can think over it. We will discuss later, because instruments are available. Even we have very good. You are having a specialty towards access in coastal and marine zone, and here we have the instruments related with monitoring the airborne microbes. Surely, we can work on that.
regarding publications,
Ah.
actually, it is very difficult nowadays, as you said about plagiarism and about the collaboration with foreign reviewers or the foreign collaborators. It is very difficult to publish very high, good impact journals, in good impact journals. Um, Even recently, myself, personally, I also face the same thing. Though the nearly more than 95% contributed by me, but still giving the credit to some other person is it's a
Sure.
really pathetic condition. So because we need to, what is the thing is that we have to go for high impact channels. So if we directly approach and we directly if we submit it or if we go for other things, so it is quite difficult for us to, to get the outcome or go to whether it is rejected at the initial stages. But when we collaborate with some other experts or some it is easy way, it is really easy way. I have recently
Selva,
experienced that.
I too thought in a similar tone, Selva, but it is not true, because for the past 2 to 3 years, my papers are getting accepted without any collaboration, foreign collaboration. I think we need to continuously work on that and to improve even, frankly speaking, our own language, because I faced plenty of problem related with the language. So we need to do some corrections. No, the way I feel.
Sir, actually, I didn't face any language related
Okay.
problems, nothing like that. Even the scientific writing or the language, it's not a problem for me. For me, is that um, what they said is one of my review article. What they said is the person is not familiar with a particular research. Okay, sir. So that is the comment that is given by the reviewers
The
as well as
editors.
the,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. The person is not that too from Marine Biotechnology Journal.
Okay.
I should not say the name of that. So anyway, okay. And later the same article is published in World Journal of Microbiology and Biotechnology (WJMP), and now currently it has more than 240 citation.
Citation.
I have nearly 240 citation for the same article, same thing. Nothing I will change. Nothing is changed, which is rejected in
Yeah.
Marine Biotechnology Journal, High Impact Journal. The same thing is published in World Journal of Microbiology and Biotechnology. Now it has more than 240 citation. I really don't know what, even the language, everything is the same. Nothing has changed, but still why they ask me like that. And see, we are eagerly want to work on that particular. It is a I know that is the field is novel field or the new field, that we know that, but still we are struggling in this aspect. I don't know how.
I
With
think
regard,
even you can
with,
you can list this under challenges.
with regard to this, I would like to point out, I think something like this in scientific world, no, it is sometimes it happens. It is not something unusual. It is usual. But whenever such thing happens, several times it might have happened to me. But how I take it to know, so it is going to go for the another journal, better journal, which is proved in your case.
Yes, sir.
You have,
Yes, sir. Exactly.
from a normal journal, your paper is published in a better journal and with better citation. So in science, we need to take criticism positively, even if somebody is deliberately criticizing. Well, anything, if some positive information is there, let us try to answer it and try to redo our work, even if it is necessary, and we can refine ourselves. That is what something which brings bigger than this always. So that way it happens. We need to refine ourselves. In fact, my thesis, PhD thesis, one France scientist has valued, I don't know exactly the name. Even those days, the guide also won't tell who was the examiner and so on. Later, I came to know some 5 clarifications in the Viva examination, and those 5 clarification resulted in 5 PhDs of my students. Each clarification has given answer in the form of answer by a thesis. So it is something a welcome suggestions, even though there are some clarification, but still it is a valid aspect. We need to accept them and try to improvise.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any more question?
Sir, regarding one more thing, sir, regarding this the paid channels or the open access channel, it is really some open access channels are very good. We know that, but still the amount that is, if we have funding, it is easy to go for that publication and everything. But still, if we collaborate with any other foreign institute, the same thing can be done easily. The same thing can be, the publication is done easily, the same open access channel. Okay, but still from our side, directly it is not possible for us to publish directly with the some open access channel, because it's too expensive, and it is not possible for us until if we get funding, or if we get any other funding source from either from the management or something like that, then only it is possible for us to publish. So what do you think, that whether we can increase this open access, or we go for this paid channels, whether it is good or not? What is your perspective, sir?
Yeah, in my opinion, don't go for paid. But if it is possible for you to pay, go it, or else just forget about it. There are plenty of journals where they are publishing without any paying any fees. They don't have any fees, article processing charges or printing charges, anything. So we can opt for that. But also I did it for a couple of journals, but I regret right now. So this is what the youngsters need to pick from this. because it is against ethics, frankly speaking, so that the youngsters can learn.
Then why there has been so much open access channel? Really, it's
No, their funding body is providing that. Their funding body in Western countries, they have a budget related to publication charges, so they can claim it from their funding body itself.
but it will be difficult for us to publish that kind of journals. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Really, it's very informative, and it's good for everyone to listen from you. And thank you very much, sir. If there is no question, I'm going to read out of my vote of thanks. Can I proceed with my vote of thanks, friends, or do you have any queries? Please open up.
My thanks to Jamal, Dr. Aruna. Jamal is also here. Aruna, Kannan of Banari, Kenmuri of Bills, yeah, and all participants. Thank you for you being here, and Vardhana from Alpha, and plenty of faculties, and whom I'm not naming. Thank you for sharing your time. Mike Anand, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Good afternoon. It's my privilege to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of Department of Marine Biotechnology, AMET, deemed to be university, extended a very hearty vote of thanks to our speaker, Dr. Uday Prakash sir. He explained a lot of things about the publication. Really, we have to learn and we have to use this knowledge to get good impact publication. He analyzed mostly in all the aspects. He is very clear and really appreciated appreciated, sir. And really, we are thank you that you accepted our short notice and you willing to give this speech on this prestigious day. Thank you, sir. And it was an enlightening talk on this particular topic. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I take this opportunity to thank Dr. J. Ramachandran, Chancellor, Dr. Rajesh Ramachandran, Pro-Chancellor, Colonel Dr. G. Thiruvasam, Vice Chancellor, Dr. N. Manogaran, Pro-Vice Chancellor, and Dr. M. Jayaprakash, Registrar, AMET deemed to be University, for giving us constant support and encouragement throughout our entire academic activities. Without their support, we cannot do all these activities. We are having freedom, and thank you very much for that, sir. I extend my gratitude to thank my colleague, Dr. L. Sendil Nathan, Head of the Department, Professor Dr. K. Altaf, sir, and Dr. Selva Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Marine Biotechnology, for their endless commitment and support in executing this event successfully. I also would like to appreciate the enthusiasm of other department faculty, student, and scholar participant. Once again, I thank all for your cordial cooperation. Thank you. Thank you very much. Dear participant, the feedback link will be provided tomorrow in tomorrow's session. The certificates are pending. I apologize for that. I'll be providing all the certificate later. There is another program also there during 9 and 10. Kindly join. I'll provide all the things later. Thank you very much for participating.
Professor Altaf, sir, I'm leaving.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Seeking your blessings, sir.
Always it is there. Udaya, please let us be in touch.
Thank you, sir.
I'll be in touch, and
Yeah.
certainly it is a real pleasant time we had with you today.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah.
What's up, sir? Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brothers. You have done well. Maya
Thank you,
Kannan,
sir.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you
Sir,
very much, sir.
I'll speak to you.
Super, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
everything.